Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. So today I'll be presenting our research paper entitled Dual Language Program in Malaysian Secondary Schools, Expounding Students' Acceptance. And we are from the Faculty of Education, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. To begin with, the spread of English has proliferated all across the globe. With the advancement of globalization, English has been the medium in many domains, for example, business, commerce, education, medicine, and even scientific research. Due to that, English has been relegated as one of the most important and crucial second and foreign language used in the teaching and learning process. And that also includes Malaysia, not to forget. Due to that, Margic and Voropija Kristanovic believe that attention should be given to language development programs to confront potential language-related challenges in classrooms because of the use of language as the means of instruction in the teaching and learning process is of paramount importance. Contextualizing into the Malaysian setting, the Ministry of Education has realized and recognized that there is a growth and concern pertaining to the parents and interest groups in identifying a radical plan to expedite the students' English mastery. Because of that, dual language program comes in implementation. Dual language program in a Malaysian setting works on four major requirements. The first one will be on the sufficient resource, which means the school needs to have sufficient resource to support the teaching and learning process. Secondly, the readiness of the principal and also his willingness to practice the dual language program. The third one will be on the parental demands and support. And finally, the school needs to maintain a good performance in the Bahasa Melayu at par with the national grade. Holding on into the premise, this research comes in with the intention to unravel the students' acceptance towards dual language program implementation in the Malaysian context, encompassing the influence of four major variables. The first one will be on the age, gender, locality, and types of school. Literature have found that dual language program is actually beneficial to the students' development and growth. According to Hammond, Lee and Jong, Lenham Leori, Lee and al., Jin and Yusoff, Jong, Thomas and Collier, Tran et al., dual language program will assist the development of language proficiency, academic achievement, and nurture bilingualism. Besides, it helps to escalate the students' affective, cognitive, linguistic, and also social perspective. Due to that, many languages have been partnered in order to implement and execute the dual language program. For example, Spanish, Mandarin, French, and Korean are among the languages partnered with English in the implementation of this program in the United States. Moving on into the methodology of this paper. So basically, this paper is a quantitative paper whereby employing survey research design. The sample involves 2,162 students nationwide, and they were chosen based on multi-stage cluster and simple random sampling. As for the data collection, we employed questionnaire, and then we also run experts validation and pilot tests to execute the validity and reliability of the instruments. And finally, for the analysis of the data, we generated descriptive and inferential statistics. So what have we found? Basically, our instrument has about 6 items whereby we're looking and examining, besides investigating, the students' acceptance towards the dual language program implementation. We have the first one, DLP is a good program to increase English mastery, which has collated a mean score of 3.58 out of 4, which is very impressive. Secondly, the LP implementation should be improved with the total mean score of 3.43, followed by DLP is a good program to develop science knowledge, 3.2 at, and then 3.27 mean score belongs to DLP implementation should be continued. And then 3.23 mean score is meant for DLP is a good program to improve mathematics skill. And finally, the LP implementation is well received by students with a mean score of 3.01. So all in all, we can say that the students are very positive. They could accept the implementation of dual language program in the Malaysian context with an open heart. So basically, what has the finding told us? So students are very positive. They know that there is a need to be proficient and competent in the English language, and therefore it is very essential and fundamental for their development in the language repertoire. Secondly, when students are proficient in English, there is a higher chance for them to perform better in the content subjects. This is based on RACA and Lesson in 2016, and an improvement is inevitable as many issues were raised in the past studies pertaining to the use of English as the instructional medium in the teaching of science and mathematics. Bear in mind, the Malaysian education system has one implemented English for the teaching of mathematics and science policy. However, it was not satisfactory as it only lasted for a decade in its implementation. So by right, we should have learned from that issue back then. So it is also believed that if certain aspects or elements of implementation are rectified well, students might have better acceptance towards the program. However, due to our limitation, we did not conduct thorough or follow-up interview with the students on what are the issues that can be improved in terms of the implementation of this program. Glancing into the second part of our article, which is to investigate the influence of four variables on the acceptance of the students. We have age. We are comparing between students of the age of 14 and 15, gender between male and female, locality between those from the urban area versus those who are coming from the rural area, and finally types of school. We have three clusters of school. The first one will be the National Secondary School SMK, National Religious Secondary School SMKA, and Fully Residential School SBP. So it was found that there are two domains revealing significant difference exist, whereas the other two domains were found to be insignificant. So we have come to a consensus that age and locality has no direct influence on the students' acceptance towards the dual language program implementation. However, as for gender and locality and type of school, there exists a significant difference between the groups. To further support our finding, age and locality has no effect on students' acceptance towards the program. Therefore, we can say that students, regardless of whether they are young or younger or older, or whether they're coming from the rural area or the urban area, it has no difference in terms of the acceptance level. And then secondly, as for the gender, female students were found to be on the upper hand as opposed to the male students, which means the female students were more positive towards the program implementation. Thirdly, this actually supports Gardner and Lambert, believing that females perceive learning English due to functional reasons or because they are more motivated instrumentally than the males. And then looking at another domain which reveals significant difference, which is on the type of school. So students coming from the national secondary schools were the least interested in learning the two subjects in English as claimed by Bursar 2007. So to recapitulate our presentation today, We have witnessed that students are displaying positivity towards the program, which is revealed via the acceptance towards the program, and then they need to experience a positive learning environment for the betterment of their learning process. If they are not happy with what they are doing, it may somehow or other affect or dampen the learning process from the student side. Secondly, we believe that improvements are highly advocated to provide students with a more conducive learning environment. So therefore, there are certain things that need to be rectified pertaining to the program implementation. Otherwise, again, like I mentioned earlier, it may affect the quality of the learning process. And quoting Lee et al. 2016, although the LP does not ensure success in achieving its objectives, a well-implemented one provides access to optimal conditions of academic development. So because of that, I thank everyone for your attention in listening to my presentation. Thank you very much.